Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies.
Me dijiste que si lo arreglaba nos ibas a llevar al lastre. ¿Este bar es gay?
Este bar es de todas las cosas.
Soy Nico. Soy algo así como un asesor espiritual.
Pues si siguen yendo a esos lugares, güey, van a terminar como esos güeyes.
Hoy es una noche muy chingona. Tú y yo vamos a celebrar, ven.
Me llamó tu mamá, cabrón. Está muy preocupada por ti.
Carlitos, ¿estás bien?
¿Qué pelos?
It's directed and co-written by Hari Sama, whose previous work I'm not familiar with. The main cast includes Sabiani Ponce de Leon, Jose Antonio Toledano, both of whose previous work I'm not familiar with, Jimena Romo from Everybody Loves Somebody, Mauro Sanchez Navarro, and Claudia Garcia, both of whose work I am not familiar with. It's kind of boring, to be honest. I don't know if I want to call it a bad film. I'm pretty sure it's not. But yeah, I saw it once, I'll probably never see it again. The primary problem that I had with the movie is that nothing really happens. It looks like it's just a bunch of shock imagery, as opposed to telling a story about this young man who is now exposed to a world that makes a little more sense to him. Because his character is supposed to be like he doesn't really fit in with either his family or his friends, although that's kind of just what I read off IMDb. When you actually see the movie itself, he sort of just seems like a different personality that hardly speaks to being someone who doesn't fit in. I feel like I get what it's trying to go for. You have this young man who's just kind of living a dull life, or just living a life that's run-of-the-mill. But then he gets introduced to this nightclub that's all about embracing who you are, your sexual orientation, if you're gay, if you're bisexual, and throwing yourself into a world of art, because there's a lot of photography, and just accepting that the times are changing and that people are going to express themselves how they want and don't want any judgment for it. And this world appeals to Carlos, but the problem is that it kind of hangs on shock imagery. Gay people giving each other blowjobs, or just showing a lot of full frontal nudity. Now, this in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but when I feel like it's not driving the narrative forward, it's just a little distracting. Because I've seen this type of movie done better, at least when it comes to actual homosexual awakening and exploration type movies. Beach Rats is a great example of a teenage boy who is just trying to figure out what it means to be gay and how to come out to his friends and family about it. This movie, it's not that. I have to admit, it's not about homosexuality. It's not about bisexuality. It's just about being oneself. But between these scenes that feel like they're supposed to illustrate that, it's just a lot of nothing. Listening to homophobic words, slang, and a lot of insults, but none of it feels like it's going anywhere. It's almost like it's trying to be a visual fantasia of just showing you a lifestyle, the lifestyle that these people had to live back in the 80s, which is fine, but there's very little variation. Like I said, all you really do is see a bunch of dongs and people having sex, taking drugs. It just doesn't feel very plot-driven or even character-driven. It's just all visuals.
That don't impress me much.
Even when legitimately dramatic stuff starts cropping up, there's this budding relationship between Nico and Carlos. You think it's going to go somewhere, and the movie certainly tries to make it go somewhere, but it doesn't actually go anywhere. It's so strange because one minute Carlos is not all that opposed to kissing a man, but then he'll go off, have sex with a woman, Nico will walk in on them, and all of a sudden he's kind of jealous. And I never really understood that. And the reason why is because, by God, everything that goes on in this club, from the drugs to the sex, it's just, why does he care so much about Carlos? Their relationship was never built upon. Whatever romance that Nico has felt and wanted from Carlos was never justified.
Back up, Jersey Shore.
It even kind of looks like that Carlos is buying into this lifestyle that he's been introduced to a little too well, and he starts becoming an asshole. He's now taking drugs that his mom takes, and I don't know what he's doing. Is he using them? Is he selling them? It's almost... Oh, no, wait, no, he does use them. Never mind. But why? I mean, maybe he's trying to, show himself that he's just as edgy as these people, I guess. But he's rebelling against the wrong person. His mom just kind of seems like she doesn't want him to smoke in the house. Maybe she doesn't want him to smoke at all, but he just runs away to go smoke somewhere else all the time anyway, or he just does what any normal person would do and leans his head out the window and smokes like that. So it's like, when he goes and does shitty things to his mom, where does that come from? He's just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
What a cunt.
I will give credit, though. The majority of the cast doesn't look like they've had the most acting experience, but they are actually really good. The acting is top-notch. And I will say that, I guess considering the time period, there is some provocative imagery. Like, you have this one scene where these people from the Aztec Club have volunteered for this special project where they parade in the street. Kind of like a chariot type thing, where you have one guy in the actual chariot thing whipping 4 people. It's not real whipping, of course, but he's whipping 4 people that have like labels all over their bodies: gay, homo. And it's certainly meant to be provocative, and I can understand the intent here, considering the time period, the attitude toward them, because, you do get a lot of dialogue that's like, if you hang around gays long enough, you become one of them, like it's contagious. That old school mentality. But the actual provocative imagery, as opposed to just shock value, is pretty far in between. And honestly, it's only that one scene.
Wow, pretentious much?
A random character dies, another character just comes out and says that he's gay. There's a lot of random stuff, and if it's not being random, it's being boring. And that's kind of the best way to sum up this movie. It's not exactly a poorly made film. It's shot well, so I give it a little bit of credit. But yeah, I've seen better films tackle this kind of subject matter and have more to say about it. It's a rental at best, and even then, you're really not missing out on much. My honest rating for This Is Not Berlin is a weak 3 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.